It's easier then.
And then Peterman ate it. And I never told him.
Hey, it's Footy Prime.
It is.
Yeah. We've got Jimmy B. We've got JC Plus. We've got Wonger avec une bière froide.
Oui.
Une bonne froide. Always
Oui.
good on a hot summer's day. And we've got Asa Base.
Hey.
Asa Rehman, who's joining us, and me, Amy Walsh, Amy Debs Walsh, on Footy Prime today. And we're going to talk all about Canadian Championships and especially your Vancouver Whitecaps, Asa. And then later on, we'll hit another Club World Cup mini pod talking about your other love, Chelsea.
Yeah, so we don't get the intro song for this one. We have to
No, not for this one, for the next one. Yeah.
No,
Club
next
World
one.
Cup.
Yeah, but we will talk about.
We could dance and pretend we're hearing it.
Well, I do have a song that I wrote for Asa. Do you want me to play it?
Yes.
Here it goes. Here. Asa Base.
Oh, yeah.
Asa Base. Asa Base. He's in place.
You didn't write this. You're making this up. You're ad-libbing.
I am ad-libbing, but that was all with my mouth.
I love it.
Reminder for everybody, Sunday. Final of the Club World Cup. You can watch it on DAZN. Stream free.
How much does that cost, Dan?
Oh, it's free. And all you have to do is sign up. Throw your email. Your tertiary email. So you're not caught every day. So you're,
what was that word again, Wonger?
Tertiary.
Tertiary. That's right.
What did I say?
DAZN?
I don't know.
How do you spell DAZN? I love that part of it.
That's
I love
DAZN.
One of our friends, Kevin Adian, I put up just, hey, the final's coming. And at the bottom he wrote, how do you spell that? So I appreciate it. I appreciate the give and take throughout this DAZN promotion.
I appreciate the footy primers and the supporters and our listeners and our viewers who have leaned in heavily to us leaning in quite heavily to DAZN and promoting that, and they've played along. So we appreciate it, not only in paying attention and watching along with us, but in being in on all the jokes as well. So Asa, back to you. It's good to see you. It's been a while.
Yeah. Good to
what are you
be
up
back
to?
with the crew. I thought I was suspended because the last time I think I was supposed to be on, there was a miscommunication, and
that's right.
Wasn't on the show. And then I keep texting Wonger about when I'm going to come on again, and he's like, "Oh, don't worry, we'll get you on again." And I honestly thought that I was sent to the basement, basically. Think about what I've done.
Actually, it's funny. We did mess up on our timing. We were confused, but there was another. You had my back, so I said I have to have him on again, just to have my back. And it was when Dubs made fun of my dyslexia because I spelled something incorrectly. I think it was patat, and I was being a pedant.
Wrote watat.
Yeah, exactly. And then Asa wrote and said, Dubs was being a dyslexicist. And I said, it's true. It's true. It's because it was between Asa, Sharms, and I. Just so you know, we have our own dark web.
Yes. Yeah. Sorry, we've got a side chat for the group chat.
That's right.
And you just put it all out there, Wonger. Thanks.
That's right. Well,
that's what happens anyway.
That's right. It does usually come out.
You have to assume.
Sometimes in a dark web, you have to preemptively state this does not leave the dark web because it's not always assumed.
True.
But here we are.
But you were being a dyslexist.
Or a lexicist.
Okay.
Yes.
Hold on. When Asa was banished to the basement, it was to the basement.
Yes. So good, Jason.
Oh, I reached so far for that. So sorry.
That's good.
That's a good joke.
Moving on to the football, shall we? Yes.
Sure.
So James Sharman is all about the pies today. He's very, 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 very busy on this Friday, but he said he needs to chime in at some point. So we might have a call in from the pie man himself, but I think probably his timing would be better served if it's during our Club World Cup mini pod, because it's to defend his Chelsea stance on the uneven performance over the course of this last Premier League season, which is really technically still going, not the Premier League season, but the 2024-2025 season. It's prolonged by this Club World Cup.
You just can't stay away from it, hey?
No, I know. That's
Chelsea
it.
slander must be said.
Yes. It's stuck in his craw. It's stuck in his craw or his pie crust. And so he's going to call and he's going to get back to us. He's going to let us know. But before we get to that, Canadian Championships. So a lot was happening this week. There were goals, there were penalties. There's a lot of late drama that was on tap in the second legs of those 4 matchups. It was stretched across a long period of time. So maybe somebody wasn't paying attention. You kind of forgot where things stood. But Montreal first, we'll get into that because that was something. I think it was a microcosm of Montreal's season, which has so far been a wash and been disappointing and been frustrating for that fan base. But they were 1-0 down coming into that and forged through 2 goals from Borges and Becker after a power outage, which again could be a reflection or a metaphor for the Montreal side this entire season and their ownership. But they fall to Forge. So lots of success for them in beating MLS sides so far this campaign, but historically. And they will face, so we can talk about that a little bit, but they will face the Vancouver Whitecaps, who at the death beat Valor in, I think, a 2-legged affair that was maybe more competitive than everybody thought. So Jimmy, you covered that match, so we'll get to you, but maybe Asa, just your thoughts, first of all, of how these 4 teams kind of come together for the semifinals if we're looking ahead.
I like these. This is the 4 that I think I really wanted to see going into the quarterfinals. I was kind of hoping for the Vancouver Derby at this stage. So, just wanting to see that, the 2 legs.
That's Derby. That's pronounced Derby.
I was kind of rooting for that, hoping for that. But the draw saw it go a different way. And, a good matchup between the Vancouver Whitecaps and Forge. I think Forge has been so good in this competition, and I think it'll be a great test. They'll have to take on another MLS team. And on the other side, I think a really good matchup for Vancouver against Atletico Ottawa. Vancouver's, I think, been okay this season. The table won't show it, but they've had some bright spots throughout the year, and I think this is what you want from this type of cup competition, where the team can kind of focus on that and say, hey, we can gear our season towards this and make a play here and hopefully reach the final. So, yeah, it's a good story for them. It's a good focus for Vancouver FC. And, I love the 4 teams left in this tournament.
What were your thoughts, Jimmy? Was that a surprise to you that Valor, who's not faring so well in a CPL season, was coming up against a team that's the 3-time champs of this competition and gave them such a tough test?
Yeah, but first I'm going to disagree with Asa because I think Vancouver FC, they've got 7 points. They're about to break records for being the worst team in the Canadian Premier League.
Yeah.
Bright spots.
But it is a bright spot, but I don't think it's going to change their season.
But it could change their season.
I don't think they're going to beat Ottawa. They got no chance. Ottawa's too good.
No chance. Love it. It's great.
No chance against Ottawa. I think Ottawa's too.
What kind of chance you give them against Cavalry?
What, the draw or the Pens? What?
Yeah, they got it done, right?
They got it done, but I just don't think they have enough in their locker to at this stage and how competitive it is, because I know Ottawa's desperate to get to that final. And I think the winner of the Vancouver Forge match, most people will think that whoever wins that will go on to win the whole tournament. But I think Ottawa's the dark horse here. I really like the way they play. I like the squad that they have. And I think it's going to be an exciting final. And I think Ottawa's going to get the final. Obviously, they got to beat Vancouver, but still. But going back to the match, I don't think you can take anything away from Valor. I thought tactically, they had a plan. They wanted to defend. Right away they got into a medium block. They weren't pressing. I thought they were organized. They had a lot of discipline, and they defended very, very well. I think until the 78th minute when Sabi came on and he ends up scoring the goal. But then it was great for me because then I thought, now Valor's got to push forward. They have to go. And there was only a couple chances that they got in behind, right? Which balls over top to Twardick. But as they opened up, I thought, wow, I couldn't believe how resilient they were, where they just kept on going forward and obviously got rewarded with their goal. And you thought, okay, this match is going to go into penalties eventually. But Vancouver, in the end, ended up getting the goal from Vasiljevic, right?
Udvik. Yeah, Bruno
Udvik.
Udvik, first ever for the Caps here.
Yeah, first header. But overall, like I enjoyed the game. I think I enjoyed it more on the tactical side. The amount of passes that the Whitecaps had in the first half, going side to side, trying to get in behind, they just couldn't break Valor down. And then in the second half, it kind of opened up a little bit. Obviously, substitution. Both teams were making subs because they were using so much energy, especially Valor. They were defending like you've never seen in your life. I thought it was terrific. They stuck to their game plan, through 90 odd minutes. But, at the end of the day, the Whitecaps got the results. And I think their professionalism came through in the end, and they got the job done. It's never easy. Yeah. It's never easy when you're playing teams like a Valor or MLS teams and CPL teams. You just got to find a way to win, and it becomes an absolute grind. And it was for the Whitecaps. I thought at times I was like, oh man, are they running out of ideas here? But eventually they ended up pulling it off. But you can't take anything away from Valor, because I thought it was a great performance from them.
Yeah, they might not be. Sorry, Asa, I was going to say they might not be running out of ideas, but they might be running out of personnel with the amount of injuries that this team has faced. So did you see that, Asa, before I rudely interrupted you there and you were going to piggyback off of what Jimmy was saying? Do you see that wearing on them?
Yeah, I think that the depth has been tested with this group. It was nice to see them get a couple bodies back in particular, and Sebastian Berhalter and Brian White. And Berhalter in particular really influenced the game in the second half. And I thought that it was a really good, entertaining, interesting match to watch, start to finish, because Jimmy, agree 100% with what you were saying. Valor knew what they wanted to do. I think everyone knew what they were going to do in that game. You still have to get it done through the first half. Sat in that block, defended well. Anything that was crossed in was cleared away. They did the defensive job so well, and they were basically clinging to that goalless draw for as long as they could, and then responded so well when they conceded. And it was a fine strike from Emmanuel Sabi. It felt like it needed something like that to really turn this tie, right? To give the Whitecaps the advantage, because everything that was thrown into the box was just being sent out right away. So it was a well-taken goal by Emmanuel Sabi. Valor did everything right. And even in the first game, in the first leg, I thought they were incredible to score those two amazing goals as well. So really good quarterfinal tie for Valor. And then for the Whitecaps, the depth, you could see it was tested, but it was so nice to have a couple of those key players back, and Sebastian Berhalter being fresh, coming off the bench, influenced the game. And he looks like a player for me that's just getting better and better and better. It's hard to say, and it's hard to really understand like how this is happening, because it felt like he took a jump last year for the Vancouver Whitecaps. And then in the offseason coming into this year, okay, Jesper Sorensen's given him a little bit more and he looks that much better. He went away to play with the American national team, comes back, it looks like he's even better. Like, this is incredible, his trajectory, and just it feels like there is no ceiling, or if there is, he's blasting right through it, because he's been incredible to watch for the Caps so far this season. I think could be probably their most influential player, one of them down the stretch run for the Caps here.
Yeah, I think. Sorry, I agree with you totally, and I think you got to give a good shout out right now to Egwu and Facineri. I thought they were brilliant.
Yeah,
they were absolutely brilliant, and you're right. Everything that came in the box, they were the first to react and get on the end of it. They defended superbly, and then obviously Wasabi's goal, I think, was it just Egwu goes to close down and kind of goes through his legs, sort of thing. There was not much he could do, but I thought those two were absolutely brilliant. And I know we're talking about, the depth, and yes, the Whitecaps had injuries in the past, but when you look at the players that came on with Berhalter, Ngando, Laborda, Sabi, Blackman, I thought, the manager's panicking a little bit here. He's thinking, I need fresh legs, and I got to get some players on that are going to make a difference. But for me, and I said it during the game, Berhalter was going to be the guy that was going to come on. He was going to be the man that was going to unlock the defense. And I thought he was brilliant when he came on.
Yeah, I think there was a little bit of worry, concern when he made the substitutions, some of them, and Berhalter's great to bring in, obviously, off the bench. But Brian White came off in that game, and I think that was planned. You knew that he wasn't going to go the full 90. Didn't feature much for the U.S., so he was on like a limit, essentially. Then he was going to bring him off. But when Valor tied it and the Whitecaps needed that second goal, and you're looking over there, and then you think about penalties as well. This is going through my mind anyway. It's like you're missing some key players, Brian White in particular. So I think it was really important and huge that Udvik got that goal because I don't know. Penalties, I think, could have gone either way.
Yeah. But it was a great ball from Nelson as well.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Nelson had a great game. I think, there's some occasions where maybe the pass was on, but at the same time, in those moments in the 18, you want a player to take a chance and try to finish. And a real bright spot as well, having Jaden Nelson back there.
He was good because I think he found it difficult at first against Fernandez. I thought Fernandez was very, very good the way that he contained Nelson. And Twardick was coming back to help him out a little bit. But then obviously the pace of the game and Nelson continually getting forward, that's when Fernandez ended up cramping. Twardick ended up going into that wing back position. And that's where he was a couple yards off and allowed that cross to come in. And then that ends up winning the game.
Yeah.
You can't give Nelson time.
Yeah,
there was that one play where Nelson cut across and he was very Messi like, as Messi was.
Spinorama
and I was like, look at what he's doing. And I just want to say too, with the we're pushing the Club World Cup on DAZN right now, but we're also, I have to be honest, this Canadian Championship, because what's on the line now, the club like getting entry into the club champion CONCACAF Champions Cup.
Mm-hmm.
This means a lot. This means an opportunity to play against North America's best. And I keep sitting there going, when Vancouver made that run and ended up playing, I forget who they play, the Liga MX, Monterrey. Was it Monterrey?
Cruz Azul?
Oh,
Cruz Azul. Yeah, it was Cruz Azul. Yeah. But I'm like, these are those opportunities that the Canadian Premier League, all of a sudden across the board with the MLS, this is a great opportunity for the Canadian clubs. And it just blows me away at what's at stake, because don't two of the teams, don't both finalists get a berth into that club champion, the CONCACAF CCC club
Champions Cup.
Thank you. Sorry. They both get in, right? Like, it's a huge deal.
I'd have to check that. You think both finalists make it in?
Yeah, because I think Calgary got in last time.
Yeah, if you win the league.
Oh, it's if you win the league.
Yeah.
Championship.
Okay.
To win the championship, you get in. And then obviously Canadian Championship.
And then, getting into Club World Cup eventually, which can be streamed for free on DAZN.
Did you hear that, Asa? You heard that? That's great.
Massive, right? If they can get into that, then anyone can watch wherever they are on their phone, on their tablet, any device for free streaming. That's the ultimate goal, really.
You're out of the basement, Asa.
He's got that empty can of change that he's just trying to get people to give.
Yeah, you're right though, Wonger, about how meaningful it is. And I think CF Montreal early on, I think a lot of people scoffed at the idea. I promise I'm not pivoting hard to CF Montreal. I promise I'm not. But like, they set winning the Canadian Championships as an internal goal. And then now that's lost. And they're also in the basement of the Eastern Conference of MLS. And people are like, oh, now it's going to be the Leagues Cup. That's going to be their new goal. But I think it does give you something, like to your earlier point. I think it was you, Wonger, saying to Jimmy, like, for Vancouver FC, things are looking bleak for them. This could be like this is their cup. This could be something that could absolutely change their season. Are they up to the task? I think is a different story, but this type of cup competition,
I think it was Asa, but yes.
It was Asa. Yeah, it gives you that ability to leverage something else, to focus on something else as you're managing league play, which maybe is a little bit disappointing. But that's what it gives you. But I wanted to go back to the Whitecaps for a second, Asa, because I asked you about the depth. I think you're seeing it with the substitutions Jimmy was rattling off, that obviously with players coming back and being at their disposal, coming off the international duty and back into the fold, that things are looking up for this Whitecaps team that was flying high and have dipped a little bit more recently. But how good is it for Whitecaps fans to see Ryan Gauld with his cleats back on and training?
It's the story this week, Dubs.
Yeah.
Like, just seeing him out there, and for fans, but teammates as well. Like the whole club. I was at training on Thursday, and Ali Ahmed is returning from injury as well. So he was on the bike, got off the bike, just watches Ryan Gauld. Sebastian Berhalter as well, recovery day for him. So like, they stop what they're doing, watching, he's doing laps, cheering in awe. got Aliame hands on. Like, they're just blown away by the fact that, this guy's coming back and is so revered in the club, so respected. So it's really neat to see the influence. And he had kids like hanging off the fence as well, trying to catch a peek of Ryan Gauld kind of going through the motions there. And it was really nice. You could see that it's injecting a bit of confidence and some life back into the team. And it's everybody coming back, honestly. Aliame being at the facility, Jaden Nelson coming back from his international duty with Canada. You have the Americans as well. So everyone's kind of coming back together. Yes, a bit of a dip in form right now in MLS play. Lost 3 of their last 4. And then maybe there's a bit of panic as well from some of the fans or asking for players to come in during this transfer window. But, as cliche as it is, and you make the jokes about like it's like a new signing getting Ryan Gauld back, but gosh, it would be, isn't it? Like you're getting this guy that's been gone for 4 months now, the best player on the team. Once he is available again for the Vancouver Whitecaps, I think they're a much better side, and there's a strong core here that should be healthy and good to go for the stretch run. Like, I think the starting 11 is becoming more clear. The one that they're really missing and don't have for the year is Sam Adekubi. So that's obviously hurting the squad. But Tate Johnson's been incredible in Sam's absence. So they've got like a pretty solid core and also 4 or 5 players that have had to step up with everyone away that have leveled up as well. Jivan Bodwell, Ralph Priso, Daniel Rios has done a decent job as well, filling in for Brian White. So you have these players that have kind of stepped up and grown and have all contributed to what the Caps have done this year. And I think they're in a really good place. I imagine they will bring someone, always negotiating, always looking to add to this group. But at the same time, when healthy, it's a very good group. 4 players going to the All-Star game. Probably could have been more as well.
Was there an eke of information about his return? Like, I know it's soon, but present. But was there any a date or anything like that?
Yeah, so I asked him about a date, and Ryan Gauld, this is probably the most encouraging, best thing that I'd heard from him, is just the fact that he said he has the date in his mind. So wouldn't disclose it, wouldn't share it. Obviously, they don't want to commit to anything, and I completely understand that. But, and Jimmy, you can attest to this, I guess, and give a little bit more information on this. But I imagine that as a player, if you have a date in mind, it's probably in the pretty near future as far as when you want to return to the first team. It wouldn't be a date of October or something. You know what I mean? If he has the date in his mind, I'm assuming that it's kind of before September that he wants to return to the first team. And that's just me kind of speculating and reading between the lines.
What you got to remember is that once you see him with the cleats on and he's starting to run, then he's in a good space.
Oh, is that a big deal? I didn't know.
It's a huge step.
It's a big step. Once the boots are on and you start running, then you're close.
Yeah. And actually, actually going through some stuff with Chris Franks, like actually going through the motions and going through the cones and touching the ball as well, kicking it. So it looks like he's on a path now to increase the kind of workload, and it looked pain-free as well. I think that was the other thing. The one thing that's kind of kept them off has been the pain. So it's really encouraging to see him back out there, and I'm hoping it's another month or so, but we'll see.
Who knows? I mean, that might be optimistic, right? But I think what you're saying, like, not only publicly for the team, internally, maybe they have a date, or maybe it's still unknown. But I mean, just to see him out there does a lot to lift the group. But for him, mentally, like what that must mean to be able to put the boots on, get back out there, to run, to go through the motions. But it's much more than that, right? It's like you're not taking that for granted, and to touch the ball, like that is massive. Like I remember during my career, like uncertainty and doubt and disappointment, and like what it does in terms for your mental approach and sort of state of mind when there's an unknown to do with like yourself medically and your physical standing. It's really, really tough to navigate. Yeah. Like we heard Jesper Sorensen say, like, we don't know, right? About not the nature of the injury, but in terms of the recovery, how he was going to respond to these various kind of benchmarks in terms of his return to play. So as a player, though, like it's the most difficult to navigate, because there's that you would rather know, okay, you're going to be out for the rest of the season and the beginning of next. But at least there's something that's set in stone, that's cemented, so you can prepare yourself. And it's when there's the question mark, that's the most difficult thing. Would you agree with that, Jimmy? Did you ever go through something in your career where you just didn't know? Like, I know you bulked up in the pool that one time when you were when you were trying to nurse
like
your
Michael
back.
Phelps.
Yeah. But was there ever a situation with an injury where you just didn't know and you had to bide your time?
Yeah, I mean, most injuries, it's hard. They'll give you a timeline where they say this is when you should be recovering. But when you have a bad injury, and after a month or 2 months, you know your body well, and so you start to feel a difference in certain things that you used to feel you don't feel anymore, and you're like, okay, I'm not far off here. I can feel that healing, and sometimes it's quicker what they anticipated. And sometimes it's longer than what they anticipated, but it depends on the recovery. It depends on your body, how you look after yourself, and how the injury plays out through its course. But I remember a lot of times, there were certain times where I feel myself get better, and they might say, you know what, you got another 3 weeks. And I was like, no, I don't think I've got 3 weeks. I think I'm less than 3 weeks now. Just because my movements in the morning, getting out of bed, or, going to make a cup of tea and getting in my car. And I'm like, I'm not feeling that pain that I felt 5 days ago.
Yeah.
Going to Hooters.
And that comes out in the body language, right? I think
ordering hot wings at Hooters. Yes.
Yeah. But that's one thing I noticed with
high stools are difficult to get up and into.
Yeah.
No, I was just going to say, with Gauld, I've noticed a difference in the body language and just the joy as well. Like, joking about the touch being off and saying that, he left his touch in the locker room basically before, because there's a bit of rust, obviously. But the fact that he's kind of joking around and having a good time, I think is a good sign as well. Because, yeah, to your point, Jimmy, like, I think those other things, the day-to-day is probably feeling a lot better as well.
Yeah.
Okay, back to before we wrap. So we talked mostly about that Vancouver side. So we've got Ottawa and the other side of the bracket taking on Vancouver FC, as we mentioned. And shout out to Nate Ingham, who was named the goalkeeper of the month in the CPL. Nate the Great, friend of the show, and I'm a big fan of Nate as well. He gave me a good recommendation for a restaurant, Press Gang in Halifax, which I went to, which was tremendous. So hat off to Nate always. But then Jimmy, just really quick. To tip our hats to Forge as well for getting past Montreal. You caught that game. What do you see them leaning on if they want to go on? And perhaps, if it's a CPL team that's going to win this thing for once. I know you said Ottawa is the dark horse, but Forge, you can't discount.
Undefeated Forge, Jimmy, right?
You can never take anything away from Forge. It's just a well-oiled machine. Even their recruitment in the off season, they just seem to continue to get stronger and better every single year. And watching that game when Prince Owusu scored, and you're thinking, okay, are they in trouble here? But knowing that Forge side, it's that never die mentality. And there's certain players that you rely on, experienced heads, and Kyle Becker, for me, I thought he was absolutely brilliant in the middle of the park. Obviously rewarded with his goal. The substitutions that Bobby made as well, bringing on Borges coming on, he gets his goal. He brings a spring in the step to the team. All of a sudden they got some life. They feel that they can go on and win it. And then as the ball just falls for Becker, you just think, I thought this is going to be a little side foot. He's going to pass it to the corner, but the confidence that he had, and he calls off the player in front of him, and he just went, no, I'm going to hit this one. And he hits it absolutely perfect. It was a screamer into the back of the net. So overall, their performance, I thought they were great. They had a good game plan. They stuck to it. They didn't let up, and they were rewarded in the end. Yeah, so obviously in the 95th minute, Montreal ends up scoring again with Owusu, but it was a great performance and a great result from Montreal, and they deserve to beat Montreal over the 2 legs.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I thought it was inevitable almost that they were going to fall for the second year in a row to Forge, just based on how the season was going. But pretty dismal one for CF Montreal and their fans. But kudos to Forge moving through to the semifinals. So we'll look ahead to that. But I think for now, Wonger, I think we're good for this pod.
Yeah, and not only that, our friend Asa Rehman added our second DAZN chat, our promo already, so we don't even have to do it right now. But I did want to ask one question before we leave this pod on to our next, is when you see a Kyle Becker, and I'm talking to the three of you who all played competitive football, he's 34 right now. You didn't, I know you weren't a pro, but you played at university, right?
I did not play to the level of Kyle Becker, but go on.
Okay, well, I'm just having fun with you. But does it ever make you feel like Dubs, you've played in these, and I know recently you played like these 6-on-6 with Montreal last year, and you're going out to, what's it feel like when you see Becker still have a rocket like that? And I know Jimmy has a left foot rocket. Does it make you feel like I could be out there kicking this ball sometimes? I was asking you, Dubs.
Oh, me.
Sorry. But then back to Jimmy.
You ended it with a compliment.
No, I did.
Jimmy.
I did. But I was just thinking, does it, when you get on the pitch and all of a sudden, because you and Jimmy, when we were up at York last year, you guys were kicking the ball back and forth, and Jimmy did one of those skills things that he made me feel like, oh, I could never have played. Like he's still got a touch, and you still have a touch. Does it ever make you feel like, oh, I'm just going to rocket this ball and I can still do it?
Well, like the one-off thing, sure. Like whether if it's a touch or a volley in practice when I'm coaching my kids, or like in the 7v7 just for fun game, yes, it's a moment. But I think more so than that is I feel so far off from the level that I competed at that I don't even try to do anything that's like an extended sequence or extended spell. It's a reality check more than anything. And you play for just those single moments, whether it's a shot or the perfect pass or the perfect touch. And I'm okay with the fact that I might just have one over the course of an hour. And I'm good with that. That's the dose that I need. And I'm good.
Right.
I think with me, I was out yesterday with my boys in the back, and we were playing touch, and I was probably maybe about 25 yards away, 30 yards away, and I ping it into them, right? And then they have to take a touch, and you try to keep it in a certain area, right? And every time you do, you get a point. So, but with my left foot, I don't even need a warm-up because I think I have that much scar tissue built up in this thing that I can't feel it. But if I was to try to ping it with my right foot, I would tear my groin in a second. I don't even try to do that. Don't even try. But to play, no, I have no interest in really playing anymore. But I do enjoy having a ball at my feet. That'll keep me uppy, and pinging the ball once in a while.
Asa, sorry, I was just going to say, Asa, you have your daughters who are playing.
Yeah.
Do you bully them out there? Are you playing them tough?
Yesterday we played actually at the park. We had a little like summer session, so a small group, some of the kids in the neighborhood, and there were just 3 of them. So it was like coaches against the kids, us old guys, and yeah, it got competitive. Like it was win by 2.
Asa won. Asa won.
It was definitely next 2 goals. Like whoever scores 2 in a row wins. And I had to make sure that we got it. Everything else was fun up until that point, and it's like, okay, now we win against these 10-year-olds. So that's the joy I get.
Feather in your cap.
Yeah,
Asa Rehman.
And then just fall to the floor, exhausted. Yeah.
There's some people that never lose it. Like I like playing in those CF Montreal like alumni employee games, like a guy like Rocco Placentino, like he'd be on his cell phone like doing deals with like CS Saint Laurent and like pinging balls and playing goalkeeper, and like he wasn't even thinking about it, whereas I'm working very hard to do something that looks ordinary. Or a guy like Eddie Sabrango, like Eddie like has gone through cancer, and like he's still a rail, he's still fit, he's still in super good shape, he can challenge any of the academy kids or even like the first team guys. He just seems like he hasn't lost a step. So I wish I had that, but I think it's understanding where you are and not trying to go too far outside that.
Yeah.
All right, we good?
We're good now.
Let's wrap. Yeah. Let's wrap this thing. Okay, like, subscribe, listen to us on all the platforms. Go like our YouTube page and subscribe to DAZN for the Club World Cup, the big final is happening on Sunday. So cheers for listening and watching.